Hello everyone, this is Manohar Reddy, Department of Cybersecurity, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today I am going to explain you the concept of scanning and reconnaissance tools. So I am going to give a brief discussion on scanning and reconnaissance tools. So before going to know about the tools, we have to know the what is meant by reconnaissance and scanning. So what is meant by scanning and reconnaissance? So scanning is a set of procedures. Scanning is a set of procedures for identifying live hosts, ports, and services, discovering operating system and the architecture of target system. So it is one type of different set of procedures for identifying what live hosts, ports, services, discovering operating system, and the architecture of target system. So identifying vulnerabilities and threats on the network also. Identifying vulnerabilities and threats also. So network scanning is used to create a profile of the target organization. Creating a profile of the target organization. So scanning refers to collecting more information using complex and aggressive reconnaissance techniques. So we will get the all information such as identifying the host, such as ports, such as services, such as operating system configuration and architecture of the target system, vulnerabilities, threats, everything we can find by doing this scanning and reconnaissance process. So reconnaissance is also a set of processes and techniques, like such as footprinting, scanning, and enumeration. These somewhat tools and techniques. They are used to covertly discover and collect information about a target system. So everything we have to find out the target system. Either it may live hosts, it may ports, it may services, operating system architecture, kernel type of vulnerabilities, everything we have to find out with the help of some certain techniques and processes. During this reconnaissance, an ethical hacker attempts to gather as much information about a target system as possible. So as much as information, you will get as much as information about the target system as possible. So by getting all the details of the target system, we can create a profile. So that profile contains what? All the live hosts, ports, IP addresses, services, operating system, everything. All the operating system architecture, kernel types, operating system types, live hosts, ports, how many ports are closed or open, everything we can get the detailed information, and we constructed it as a profile. Of the target mission. So following are the 7 steps listed below for doing scanning and reconnaissance. So what are those? First one is what? Gather initial information. And the second one is what? Determine the network range. Then next, identify active missions. So how to identify? We have performed the scanning of open ports and closed ports. Performing scanning to find out the open ports and the closed ports. And discover open ports and access points. So find out the discovered open ports and the access points. And fingerprint the operating system. So we have to keep the finger on operating system. What operating system type and server type and the kernel type, everything we have to know that. And uncover services on ports. And map the network. So which type of network topology we are using, we have to get the information about that mapping. So for doing scanning and reconnaissance, these are all the steps and these are all the mechanisms we have to use. And reconnaissance take place in two parts. One is what active reconnaissance, and the second one is what passive reconnaissance. One is what active reconnaissance, and the second one is what passive reconnaissance. So what is meant by active reconnaissance? In this process, you will directly interact with the computer system. In this process, you will directly interact with the computer system to gain the information, and this information can be relevant and accurate. This information can be relevant and accurate, but there is a risk of getting detected if you are planning active reconnaissance without permission. So we can do the active reconnaissance procedure, but without permissions we cannot do in the organizations or in the companies or in the industries also. If you are detected, then the system admin can take severe action against you and trial your subsequent activities. So active reconnaissance can perform in the campuses or in the organizations or in the offices also. Passive reconnaissance. In this process, you will not be directly connected to the computer system. In this process, you are not able to directly connected to the computer system. This process is used to gather essential information without ever interacting with the target systems. So just for getting the information and monitor that information, how the data is available and what the data is available and for what reason the data is available. For everything, the gathered information is important. With this information, the active reconnaissance procedures will apply. With this information, active reconnaissance procedure will apply. So here some certain types of tools for scanning and reconnaissance procedure. So in that, the first category is what? Network sniffers. So network sniffers or network analyzers, we can call it as what? Both network sniffers or network analyzers. So these are the tools or software or hardware used to sniff data flow through the connection. So how the data is going to be monitored, how the data is to be varied, how the data is to be transferred. So everything we have to analyze. For these, sniffing tools can be used for analyzing network packets to solve problems in network and identify any malicious packets or behavior. So the sniffing tools are analyzing the packets and analyzing them, identify that malicious packets are there or not. Analyzing them and find out that malicious packets are there or not. So it checks each and every packet's behavior. It analyzes each and every packet's transmission. So for that, we have used some certain sort of tools. In that, first one is what? Wireshark tool. So Wireshark is an open source sniffer tool. It is used for sniffing and analyzing data packets. It is used for what purpose? Sniffing and analyzing data packets. And it captures live packets. It captures both live and offline packets and can analyze them in the offline mode. So capturing the live process and analyzing them in offline mode also applicable. So it provides GUI and command line interfaces on different operating system. So it provides both GUI and command line interface, both GUI and CLI interfaces on different types of operating system. So based on the different operating system, Wireshark used as a GUI mode and Wireshark used as a CLI mode. And the second one is what? TCP dump. So this is also one type of free software. TCP dump is a free software used for analyzing packets on TCP IP protocol using the command line interface. So in the CLI mode, this TCP dump operates. TCP dump operates. It analyzes only the packets on TCP IP protocol. It analyzes only the packets on TCP IP protocol. And next one, Kismet. So Kismet is not only a packet analyzer but also a network detector and intrusion detection system. So it is not only a packet analyzer but it also a network detector. So it identifies the network statistics also and intrusion detection system also. So is there any interrupts are there, is there any intrusions are available, then it finds out that intrusion detection. And it can capture packets on wireless network. It can capture packets on wireless network using 802.11 ARBRZRN traffic and throughput. Traffic and throughputs. The outputs are shown using command line interface. So by operating by commanding this Kismet, we can see the output of this network analyzing and network detection. All the statistics of information can see in the command line interface. And next one, EtherCap. EtherCap is a software for sniffing and analyzing packets. With the different protocols. So we have to monitor each and every protocol with each and every packet is related to which protocol, whether it is TCP packet or TCP protocol, whether it is internet packet or internet protocol, whether it is ICMP packet with the element of network layer protocol. So we have to check each and every packet with the help of those protocols. So that is what EtherCap is doing. And it can work as man in the middle and launch attacks by sniffing information or passwords and may be used as a network analyzer. So it works as a man in the middle and launch the attacks by sniffing the information or passwords and may be used as network analyzer. And the second one is what? Vulnerability scanner. Vulnerability scanners, and we can call it as also pen test scanners. So vulnerability scanner is a software to look for vulnerabilities on a computer network. So it is a software used to look for what? Look for vulnerabilities on a computer network. Or computer system or computer applications. So computer network or computer system or computer applications, among those all, so it looks for vulnerabilities. And these tools are used by attackers to find any vulnerability. So tools are used by attackers to find any vulnerability which can be exploited to launch attacks. So these vulnerability scanners are usually used by the attackers because they are going to launch the attacks, right? So wherever the vulnerabilities are presented, there they can launch the attacks. On the other hand, security administrators also use it to find open vulnerabilities on their systems so that these can be patched and attacks can be prevented. So security administrators also using these vulnerability scanners because they have to find out that open vulnerabilities on their organization or in their companies, on their organizations or on their companies. So they wish to use that they wish to prevent the attacks to do not launch with anyone. So in the first one is what? Nessus is a open vulnerability scanner. So Nessus is a network vulnerability scanner. It was open source and free up to till 2005. It was an open source tool and it is a free up to till 2005. Then it was transformed into commercial product. And it works by analyzing the network to find any hole in the network. So it has to analyze the network, then it finds any holes on the network. So which can allow an attacker to launch an attack by exploiting this vulnerability, by exploiting these vulnerabilities. And next one, Open VAS. Open VAS. So vulnerability assessment system. So Open Vulnerability Assessment System, that is simply called as Open VAS, is a framework containing several services and tools. It is a framework that containing several services and tools forged from Nessus in 2005. Forged from Nessus in 2005. When Nessus was launched as a commercial software. So Nessus was launched as a commercial software. This Open VAS comes here. So when 2005, after 2005, Nessus was launched as a commercial product, the Open VAS comes here for open framework, open source framework. And it works on Linux and Microsoft Windows. It works on both what? Linux and Microsoft Windows. And next one, Core Impact. Next one is what? Core Impact. It is very powerful and commercial vulnerability scanner tool. It is very powerful and commercial vulnerability scanner. So it is not a open source. It is a commercial tool. And it is used for penetration testing by finding any vulnerability on the system. It is used for penetration testing by finding any vulnerabilities on the system. After finding a vulnerability, it can exploit the machine to establish an encrypted tunnel to reach other boxes to exploit them. So it finds the open vulnerabilities. After finding that vulnerabilities, it exploits the machine to establish encrypted tunnel to reach the boxes to exploit them. And Retina. This is also one type of vulnerability scanner tool. Retina is a vulnerability scanner tool used to look up vulnerabilities on the network. Using GUI gives this tool more usability. So it is operated in the GUI mode. But the drawback with this tool is that it works only on Microsoft Windows and is a commercial tool. It is a commercial tool. So it is a GUI mode and it is a commercial tool and it works only on Microsoft Windows. So it is also a vulnerability scanner tool. And third one is what? Attack detection tools. So some tools are used to detect attacks, but they can't prevent attacks. So this type of tool is called as what? Intrusion detection system. And a particular genre of IDS only operate at network layer and are called the network intrusion detection system and are called as what? Network intrusion detection system. These NIDs uses signatures. Anomaly detection are both as a detection technique for their operation. So the next one, here the attack detection tools are somewhat. First one, Firestorm. First one is what? Firestorm. This network intrusion detection system has a high performance and full of capabilities to detect various attacks. So it having full of capabilities to detect various types of attacks. It can analyze many of protocols to detect any malicious patterns in network traffic by using libcap for capturing the packets. So for capturing the packets, for analyzing the many of the protocols with the help of libcap, it is going to be captures. By the help of libcap, it is going to be capturing. So this Firestorm is what? Network intrusion detection system. It having high performance and full of capabilities to detect various attacks. And the next, Prelude. and it is a hybrid IDS, so hybrid intrusion detection system tool, which uses snort rules, and is capable of using other IDS rules also. Which uses snort rules are nothing but individual rules. They can apply individual rules and is capable of using other IDS rules also. And it uses several sensors. In the network to capture and detect any malicious packet. And it can work on Linux, BSD, and other operating system. It can work for both Linux and other operating systems like BSD, Windows, and all. And Dragon. So Dragon is also a network and host intrusion detection system. So this is for what network and host, both network and host intrusion detection system, which uses rule based and signature based detection technique, which uses as a rule based and signature based detection technique. And it is a commercial tool. And comes with extensive library. It is a functionality heavy, and its different parts allow it to detect a wide range of malicious attack. Its functionality is heavy, but under its different parts allow it to detect a wide range of malicious packets. Both a user-friendly GUI and CLI, both GUI as well as CLI can be used with Dragon. So for this tool, you can operate it in the both GUI mode as well as CLI mode. And the next one, Bro, and formally it is called as Zeek. It is a free and open source network intrusion detection system used only on Unix operating system. So it is a free and open source network intrusion detection system used only on Unix operating system. And the fourth one is what? Attack prevention tools. So some of the tools are detecting attacks. Some of the tools are only detecting attacks, but they are not able to preventing. But here, attack prevention tools. So they are different than IDS. They are different than intrusion detection system. In that, they employ various techniques to prevent attacks. They are employing their various techniques to preventing attacks. And many of the attack tools are used for attack prevention also. Many of the attack tools are improved for attack prevention also. Different mechanisms and methods are used for detecting malicious strings and then preventing attacks. So intrusion prevention system is one of the technique for preventing intrusions. So intrusion prevention system uses anomaly or rule based detection technique. It uses anomalies or rule based detection technique for detecting malicious strings and then prevent attacks. So it finds the malicious strings, identifying malicious string, then prevent them. Actually, intrusion prevention system is the second generation of intrusion detection system, IDS. It is the second generation of intrusion detection system, that is IDS. And here some of the tools are attack prevention tools. First one is what? Suricata is a free and open source network intrusion detection and prevention system. So this tool is used as both network intrusion detection as well as network intrusion prevention purpose. Intrusion detection purpose as well as intrusion prevention purpose. And it works on application layer. It works on what layer? Application layer. In addition of network layers to detect and prevent variety of attacks. network layer. So it operates both application layer in addition of network layer to detect and prevent variety of attacks. And it uses multi-threading concept, which makes it faster than other IPS and IDS. So it uses, because of using that multi-threading concept, it is very faster than that IPS and IDS. The detection technique used by this tool using a rule based anomaly based as well as anomaly based. So the detection technique used by this tool is what? Using both rule based and anomaly based. Those two techniques here it is using for the detection of intrusions. And the next one, firewall. So we already configured that firewall in our systems. So it is a software or hardware, we can call it as both software or hardware, used to protect the network through analyzing the incoming and outgoing data. So it is analyzing the incoming and outgoing data based on the rule set, if they have malicious string or not. So it identifies, it checks each and every packet inspecting, and whether the inspection packets or incoming packets are malformed or not, or malicious string or not. And next one, net filter. So net filter is a open source and it is written in C code and a free firewall. It is a free firewall, but it works only on Linux. And next one, IP filter. It is a short, we can call it as IPF. And it is an open source and a free firewall. It supports both IPv4 and IPv6. And it can work on different types of operating systems also. It can work both IPv4 and IPv6, and working on different types of operating systems. And the next one is what? Penetration test tools. These are the tools which are used by both attackers and the penetration testing professionals. So both penetration testing professionals as well as attackers. So these tools can be used by both attackers as well as penetration testing tools to get ingress into the network. So they have to choose the vulnerabilities of finding internet. So following are some of the notable penetration testing tools for TCP/IP suite. So the first one is what? Very important, Nmap. So it is the tool for choice of the network discovery. So it is used for what purpose? Network discovery purpose, port scanning purpose, and security auditing purpose of the target network. And it is a open source and a free software. It can carry out operating system and network device fingerprinting. And next one, Netcat. This small and handy tool can be called the Swiss Army knife of the network. It can call it as what? Swiss Army knife of the network for the pen testing. It allows reading and writing of data to the network connections. It allows both reading and writing of data to the network connections using the TCP/IP protocol. If any packet can be constructed and dispatched using the Netcat. This Netcat tool. So that's why you can say that it is a Swiss Army knife of network pen testing tool. And next one, HPing. So HPing is an open source and a free TCP/IP packet assembler and analyzer also. So it is an open source tool and it is a TCP/IP packet assembler and analyzer. It does not have a graphical user interface. It does not have GUI. So it can only accessible using the command line interface. It can be accessible only using the command line interface. And here some of the tools in regular wise we are using the different tools, the different categories. So see here, the Wireshark, it is a type of category what, a network sniffer tool, and it is a open source, and it is a GUI mode, and it is a complexity actively supports. Yes, it is actively supported. And the second one is what, TCP dump tool. TCP dump tool, it is a protocol analyzer. Yes, and it is a open source, and it is a cross platform, but it operated only CLI mode, and it is also actively supported. And third one, Kismet tool. It is a wireless sniffer, especially intrusion detection system, and it is a open source, and it is a free of cost, and it is a third party GUI. It is a third party GUI, but it is actively supported. And similarly, EtherCap is a sniffer tool or protocol analyzer tool, open source, free of cost, cross platform, and it is also actively participated. And Nessus tool. Nessus tool is a one vulnerability scanner tool, and which is finding the open source, and it is not able, but it is a cross platform. It is a cross platform, and it is actively supported. Next one, Core Impact Open VAS. It is also vulnerability scanner. It is a open source. It is a free of cost. It is a cross platform, and it is operated in GUI mode also, and actively supported. And the Core Impact, it is also one type of vulnerability scanner. It is not a open source, and it is not a free of cost. It is cross platform, and it is operated in GUI mode, and it is actively supported. And Retina, it is also a vulnerability scanner. It is not a open source, and it is not a free of cost, and it is not a cross platform, but it operated only on Windows operating system, and it is operated in GUI mode also, and it is actively supported. And next one, Firestorm. It is the category of intrusion detection system, and it is a open source software, and it is a free of cost. It is a cross platform, and it is actively supported. It is actively supported. And next one, Prelude. It is also intrusion detection system, and it is a open source tool, and it is a free of cost, and it is a operated in GUI mode, cross platform, and it is operated in CLI mode, and it is actively supported. It is actively supported. And Dragon, it is also an intrusion detection system, and it is not a open source, and it is not a free of cost, but it is operated on Unix operating system, but it is actively supported. And Bro, simply called as Zeek, we can call it as Zeek, and it is a IDS tool. It is also a open source, and it is also a free of cost, and it is also a cross platform. It is operated on only Unix, and it is actively supported. And Snort, it is also a intrusion prevention system as well as intrusion detection system, and it is an open source tool. It is a free of cost. It is a cross platform tool. Yes, and it is operated in GUI, not in GUI, not in CLI. It is operated in third party mode. So, and it is actively participated. And Surikata, it is also intrusion prevention system tool. It is a open source tool. It is a free of cost, and it is a cross platform. Yes, and it is operated in third party mode. It is actively participated, actively supported. So these are all the different scanning and reconnaissance tool that's used by the attackers or ethical hackers. Attackers are ethical hackers or security administrators are using these all the tools. So let we revise the topics which we discussed in this session. So here the first topic is what is meant by reconnaissance scanning. So scanning is nothing but what? A set of procedures for identifying live hosts, ports, services, discovering operating system and architecture of target system, everything we have to create a profile of the details of the target system, creating a profile with the details of a target system. So here the steps we have to follow for doing this scanning and reconnaissance procedure. And there are two types of reconnaissance are there. One is active reconnaissance, second one is passive reconnaissance. And here the tools, different types of tools. First one is what? Network sniffers. network sniffers. So these tools are analyzing the network and how the software or hardware are used to sniff the data flow through the connections. So for that, the main example, Wireshark tool is best example, and remaining all the tools are there. And similarly, vulnerability scanners. So Nessus is the very important tool, and OpenVAS is also very important tool. And the next, attack detection tools. Firestorm is very important tool for for finding the detections of the attacks. And here attack prevention tools. So some of the tools are not only detection, they are able to prevent attacks also. They are able to prevent attack also. So in that, Suricata firewalls, net filter, IP filters are there. And last, penetration testing tools. The Nmap is very important tool for doing this pen testing, and port scanning and network discovery, security auditing tool. And here, these are all the different tools, and looks all the tools and the category of the tools, category of the whether it is open source or not, whether it is free of or not, how many tools are cross platform independent tools, how many tools are used as both GUI and CLI mode, and how they are actively supported to finding the vulnerabilities or to finding the profile of the organization. So this is all about to know about the scanning and reconnaissance tools that we are using in the regular or real-time scenarios. Thank you all.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.